When you're staring at a wall of guitars in a store or scrolling through endless listings online, the biggest question usually isn't which one looks the coolest, but will this actually work for me? And will it be worth the money I'm putting down? That hesitation is real, especially when you're trying to balance a decent tone, playability, and a price tag that doesn't break the bank. The Ibanez Premium RGA20P1PB in Cosmic Blue Burst landed on my radar because it promises a solid body feel, 2 humbucking pickups, and a visual finish that catches the eye withoout shouting. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I dug through specs, compared it to other entry-mid-range guitars, and tried to piece together how it would behave in everyday practice rooms, small gigs, and even a home studio setup. First, let's talk about the basic shape of this instrument. It's a solid body, double cutaway that feels familiar if you've ever held a standard electric guitar. The body is a blend of poplar, maple, walnut and a bit of panga wood for the top. That mixture is meant to give a balanced resonance: poplar for lightweight feel, maple for brightness, walnut for warmth, and the panga finish adds a subtle grain pattern under the Cosmic Blue Burst paint. In practice you'll notice the weight sits comfortably on your lap and doesn't feel overly heavy, which is a real advantage if you're a student or someone who spends long hours at a stand-up desk. The neck is a maple walnut construction with an ebony fingerboard. Ebony is a choice many players appreciate because it provides a slick, fast feel under your fingers, and the dark contrast against the blue burst body looks sharp. Now, who should actually consider this guitar? If you're a beginner who's gotten past the cheap starter pack stage and wants something that feels more like a professional instrument without the premium price, this is a solid candidate. It also makes sense for intermediate players who need an affordable backup guitar for rehearsals or traveling gigs. The humbucking pickups are the kind of workhorse that can handle clean jazz tone voicings and enough gain for light rock distortion. If you're a heavy metal shredder looking for aggressive high-output pickups, you might find these humbuckers a bit too tame, but they will still deliver decent saturation when paired with a good amp. In short, the sweet spot is mid-range players who want an all-rounder. On the other hand, there are clear reasons to skip it. If you already own a high-end instrument and are looking for a niche tone, say, a specific vintage-inspired single-coil sound, this guitar won't satisfy that craving because it only offers 2 humbuckers. Likewise, if you plan to use a lot of advanced tremolo tricks, the edge tremolo bridge on this model is reliable for modest whammy-bar use, but isn't built for deep dive bomb tricks that some aggressive players demand. Finally, if you're counting on a guitar to be a stand-forget studio legend for recording high-end tracks, you might find the lack of premium electronics and the relatively modest hardware a limiting factor. In those scenarios, you'd be better off looking at a higher-priced model or considering a boutique option. Let's get into the everyday practical strengths. The first thing most users notice is the balance. The combination of lighter woods in the body and the heavier neck means the guitar stays seated nicely when on a strap, and you won't feel it pulling you forward while you're standing. That can be a subtle but lasting comfort advantage during live sets. The edge tremolo itself is a point of pride for many Ibanez owners. It's designed to be relatively smooth, and on the RGA20P1PB it does a decent job of allowing gentle pitch bends without the hiccups that cheap tremolos sometimes give. For a player who enjoys a little vibrato in blues or surf-style passages, it's more than adequate. The humbucking pickups, while not the highest output models, have a clear mids range that makes chordal work sound full and articulate. I tried them with a clean amp setting, a light overdrive, and a modest distortion pedal. In the clean mode, the guitar sang with a bright attack that cut through a band mix, particularly useful for rhythm players who need to be heard without stepping on the lead. When dialed into a crunchy blues tone, the pickups delivered a thick, warm body that felt natural, and even on mild distortion they retained definition rather than becoming a mushy wall of sound. This flexibility is a practical win if you're shifting between styles or need one guitar to cover multiple genres in a small gig. One hidden trade-off shows up when you move from a practice room to a louder venue. The Finish Cosmic Blue Burst does a nice job of hiding minor scratches, but the lacquer isn't particularly thick. After a few months of gigging, you might notice a few light scuffs on the body if you're not careful with gig bags or stage gear. It's not a deal breaker, but it's a maintenance note worth noting. Additionally, the bridge's tremolo springs are not pre-adjusted for every player's string.